"John, you're fired." I had made it clear that today's executive meeting was extremely important. We don't need someone who skips it without notice. One morning, on my way to work for an important executive meeting, I stopped to help someone and ended up being fired. No matter how much I tried to explain, they wouldn't believe me, and I had no choice but to resign. But nobody knew where I had worked in my previous job and who the woman I helped was. I, John, had no idea that this incident would turn my life upside down. I'm John. I'm employed at a brick-and-store company dealing with home appliances. Ever since I was little, unlike the stereotyped grade schooler, I have enjoyed tackling assignments and studying. The karate I learned as a hobby was more about enjoying training than competitions, probably because I found practice more enjoyable. In practice, I could try again and again, unlike in official matches where one loss meant the end. Additionally, I felt my skills improving through persistent training. Fortunately, I never struggled academically and never found school lessons to be a pain. I didn't like the school exams because I preferred inputting new knowledge rather than outputting it in a quiet classroom. I graduated from a prestigious university with more units than required. I initially worked for a multinational corporation in the same industry as I do now. However, I didn't get along with my boss, who abused their authority and imposed unreasonable demands. I can say that I relatively prefer logical choices. That's why I left the major company without any hesitation. Finding a new job wasn't easy, but I ended up finding one now. I'm aware that people call me a workaholic. I fully acknowledge that I'm too focused on my job. Allegedly, people label me as a stiff or something behind my back. However, the results of my dedication are recognized by others. That's why my career has been steadily advancing. When I was working as a manager, securing a major deal led to my promotion to director. It was around that time I started getting more attention from the company president, and I was assigned an assistant who would report directly to me. Months later, a new employee, who was older than me, joined my team. "My name is Robert. Pleased to meet you." "I'm John. Nice to meet you." His name was Robert. Although assigned as my subordinate, he firmly believes in seniority in every matter. On the first day we met, he clearly had a displeased look on his face, apparently unhappy with me being younger yet more successful. I guessed he was disgruntled about working under me. Admittedly, it's somewhat awkward for me to deal with a subordinate who's older. However, this is work, not personal life. Besides, I earn my position through fair assessment of my work, so there's no need to worry. With that in mind, I decided to interact with Robert strictly as his superior. But it seemed he had a different idea. "Director, about the task you requested, may I have you check it?" One day, while working at my desk, a manager brought me some documents to review. "Huh? A task I requested? Did I ask for something?" "Yes," Robert told me. "I was informed yesterday it was from you, Director." Robert did. The task that supposedly came from me through Robert. But when I checked it, it wasn't something I had asked the manager to do. Actually, it's a task assigned to Robert, and I provided him with a specific deadline. I had instructed Robert to do it. Why did Robert let someone else handle it? Since then, similar incidents have occurred several times. Allegedly, Robert is using my name to delegate his tasks to managers or section chiefs, all without my consent. Unbeknownst to me, a problem arose during this time. Upon inquiry, it found out that Robert had dumped the said subject matter on others. When I confronted Robert directly, he just made excuses, saying, "No, I heard it was urgent, so I thought the faster working managers and section chiefs would be more suitable. Besides, I was just asking for a little help with my work. I'm not pushing anything onto anyone." Given the mistakes that were happening, I couldn't just stay silent. I reported my concern to the president, but it fell on deaf ears. All I got was, "Well, sometimes these issues happen. Give it a bit more time." One day, I had an important meeting with a client. "Robert." "Yes. Sorry to bother you, but could you arrange a car for me?" "Thanks." I told Robert just that and quickly started preparing. However, when it was time to leave, the car hadn't been arranged. I frantically called Robert. "Robert, what's up?" "What do you mean, what's up? Didn't I ask you to arrange a car? What's going on?" "Oh, Sorry, I forgot. He apologized in an overly casual way. I was tricked. I was really upset, but I had to go. Thankfully, I had my car ready for just such a case. I'm the type to act with a margin of safety. As I head to the client, I find myself thanking my own cautious personality for saving the day. To make things worse, a series of incidents arose, all caused by Robert. He would edit documents I was working on and submit them as they were, leading to problems. Another time, I asked him to print revised documents, but he somehow printed the old version for a meeting. This caused confusion and anger from the client and even the president, with numerous mistakes and inconsistencies. But none of these were my doing. I even showed security camera footage as evidence, but each time, the president would suddenly change his attitude and say, well, don't get so angry. My bad, trying to brush it off. Please, sir, listen to me. Let's talk about it some other time. See you. Watching him flee back to his office, I started to feel suspicious about the company I was working for. As the first half of the year was drawing to a close, I was scheduled to attend an important executive meeting. I'm the type to act early. As usual, I left my house way too early, giving myself plenty of time to get to the office. Living close to the office, I usually walk to work. Although I occasionally drive to be prepared for irregularities or emergencies, I usually enjoy walking as a morning aerobic exercise. For a workaholic like me who doesn't get enough exercise, this is invaluable. But that day, unfortunately, I encountered a sexual harassment incident on the way. Stop it, please. You say that, but you probably don't mind, right? Stop it. Get off of me. Calm down. A man was forcibly holding a woman by the shoulder and getting close to her face as she resisted. The man appeared to be rifling through the woman's bag. Seeing her frightened attempts to talk back, I reflexively ran to shield her. Stop it. What? Who the heck are you? She's clearly resisting. This is outright sexual harassment. I twisted his wrist and used my karate skills to subdue him. Somebody, call the police. Hurry. While shouting, the man desperately tried to escape my grip. Give it up. The man slumped his shoulders as he heard the police sirens. After handing him over to the police, I was about to head to the office when an officer asked me to stay for an interview. I agreed and stopped. Robert, it's me. Yes. I've run into some trouble and might be late for the meeting. I explained the situation over the phone. Additionally, I gave him instructions to relay my message to the president and the attendees of the executive meeting, then hung up. After the interview, I stayed with the victim woman until someone came to fetch her. Thank you so much. No, I just did what anyone would do. Not at all. You really helped me. Let me treat you to dinner sometime as a thank you. Your gratitude is more than enough. But please, I won't feel right otherwise. No, really, your kind words are enough. Oh, is she the one you're waiting for? Yes, she is. Well, I'm in a bit of a hurry, excuse me. The woman kept expressing her gratitude, but honestly, I just wanted to get to work as soon as possible. Having missed the meeting, I wanted to get to the office as soon as I could. I nodded to the person who came to pick her up and to the victim woman, who still seemed to have more to say, then left. By the time I finally arrived at the office, it was well past lunchtime. Despite asking Robert to relay my message, I was late and missed the meeting. First of all, I have to apologize to the president, but upon entering the president's office, I was stunned to hear, "John, you are fired." What? Why is that? I had told you how important today's executive meeting was. We can have someone who skips it without permission. Not without permission. No, I contacted Robert to inform him that I'd be late because I had to hand over a man to the police for sexual harassment and then was held for an interview as a witness. Robert even acknowledged the message. I hadn't heard anything about that from Robert. What? There must be some mistake. If you ask him, he'll confirm it. All right. Let's ask him. The president immediately called Robert into the office. Robert appeared within minutes. Despite my informing him by phone, he denied it, saying, "No, I haven't heard anything about that. I didn't receive any phone call." See, even Robert says so. You claim you informed him, but could that be a lie? Maybe there was no police inquiry, and you're just covering up for oversleeping. That's not true. If you doubt it, please contact the police station for confirmation. I left my name and contact information, and I gave them my business card. I called Robert in front of the police, so they should be able to testify. All right, I got it. Stop nagging. But even if that's true, you should have contacted me directly, not Robert. Today's meeting was extremely important. As I didn't receive any message, you were absent from the meeting without notice. That fact remains unchanged. Dealing with Robert's denial and the president's refusal to believe or listen to me, the conversation was forcefully concluded, and I was compelled to resign. While I was packing up in a daze, Robert approached me with a somewhat pleased look. Too bad, huh? So it seems, Robert. Can we go over the handover of my work? Oh yes, of course. What is it? Even during the handover, Robert barely paid attention. He probably couldn't wait to get rid of a thorn in his side like me. Feeling complicated about being disliked that much, I thought it pointless to go into details. So, I just gave a rough explanation. I figured I'd just sort out the data on my last day. As I packed and handed over responsibilities, I found myself feeling somewhat liberated. I was better off without this company. On my last day, as I was organizing data, Robert rushed in, apparently rattled. Director John, come to the president's office immediately. Huh? Before I could react, he was dragging me to the president's office. There, I saw a familiar face. President Thompson. Do you know me? Sure I do. President Thompson was the president of the large corporation where I had previously worked. Given the size of that company, it's not surprising that President Thompson didn't know me. In the president's office, President Thompson, the president of this company who fired me, Robert, and myself, was present. I was bewildered, not knowing what I had been called in. I was told that the individual who assisted my daughter recently is part of your team. I am here to conclude a contract and, concurrently, express my gratitude in person. Your daughter. Don't you remember? A few days ago, you helped a woman being harassed at the train station. Oh, yes. I remember. That victim was my daughter. I was astonished by this revelation, and President Thompson respectfully requested a handshake and then said, "That's why I'd like him to be in charge of the new contract." Hearing this, the president of my current company said, "Of course. John, you got this," and smiled at me as if he completely withdrew his decision to kick me out. His grin was sickening, and his obvious ulterior motives made me feel like throwing up. So, I let go of President Thompson's hand and showed him the dismissal notice I had just received. "I'm very sorry, but I'm no longer associated with this company. I've been dismissed, so I can't be in charge of your contract. Excuse me." As I was about to leave, President Thompson stopped me, looking surprised. "In that case, how about joining us?" Under normal circumstances, it would have been an offer to jump at. But instead of being pleased, I frowned. "I'm afraid I have to decline your offer. I worked at your company a few years ago, but I experienced significant mental distress, so I have no intention of returning. Thank you anyway." It's understandable that he didn't remember my face, but to assume I would readily accept a headhunting offer was a big mistake. Why not bother to hide my irritation? I no longer connected with any one of them. After I left my job, I started to discuss joining a brick-and-mortar business run by an acquaintance. However, at the same time, I began receiving calls from unknown numbers. It is my policy never to answer suspicious or unregistered numbers, so I blocked that number. I thought it was done. On the day of the job interview, I donned a suit and left my house. It was the beginning of winter. I wore a light coat over my suit and headed to the nearest station. On the way, I encountered the president's daughter I had helped before. "I finally found you." "What?" I was startled when she suddenly grabbed my sleeve. "I won't let you escape this time." I looked up, finally recognizing her face. "Please, just talk to me for a moment." "No, if I let go, you'll just run away again." "Well, of course. I'm in a hurry today. Please let go. Just give me a little bit of your time, please." "I'm sorry I can't. I've been trying to call you so many times since that day, but I couldn't get through. I've been waiting here for days." "Oh, that was your number." Allegedly, she had been waiting daily for me to pass by because she couldn't reach me by phone. Feeling a complex mix of emotions and seeing no signs of her letting go, I called the company where my job interview was scheduled to apologize. "No problem, don't worry. You may come anytime." they responded kindly. Sighing, I then turned back to her. So, what do you want to talk about? My father wants to apologize to you. Is that so? Well, please tell him I'm not upset and it's all right. But that's a problem. How so? It's the truth. After some back and forth, she eventually exclaimed in desperation, "Please, come with me, John." Taken aback by her plea, I sighed and agreed, "All right, Emily," and decided to go with her to see her father. John, was it? I was rash in my words the other day, not considering your feelings at all. I am truly sorry. President Thompson, upon seeing me, apologized sincerely. Honestly, I thought I didn't deserve such an apology, so I politely told him, "Sir, please don't mind me. Those events are minor to me. In fact, I owe you an apology for my inappropriate behavior. While I'm truly honored to be offered a position in your company, I lack the courage to return to my old nest where I once suffered. I understand your hesitation, and it's not a simple matter, but trust me, I assure you the same mistake will never happen, and you will never go through such an experience again." President Thompson, please, John, come back to us. Even Emily is asking. By the way, did you and Emily graduate from the same university? That's right. In fact, we both are alumni of the same university, and we recognized it soon after I saved her from the harasser the other day. I know I'm bringing up something lighthearted, but it appears there's a certain connection between you and Emily. Can you please consider my request as a favor from the president of this company? Having been persuaded by both of them, I eventually gave in and chose to return to my old nest. My direct superior turned out to be a great person. He had solid thinking skills and a flexibility that I lacked. I saw him as someone to learn from and was picking up various things from him. Emily joined my department as my junior. Why did you specifically choose to join my department? I requested it. But why? Well, should I be asking you the same question? She would just tease me like that whenever I tried to find out why. However, she was very capable at work. Probably, since her childhood, her family has trained her as a successor to excel in the future in this industry. At first, she would often come to me seeking advice, but gradually, she began to compete with me. Sir, I won't lose to you. No, I feel like I've been hearing that from you forever. It's okay. You've always been, and still are, my rival. I grinned wryly at her, recalling the past. In college, I joined a tennis club. Until then, my life had been all about studying. Once my college life began to roll, I realized how uninteresting I was. So I thought that playing tennis would be good for me. At least, I could call it my hobby. I joined a tennis club after receiving an invitation. The members were all serious tennis lovers, and they genuinely enjoyed playing tennis. Unlike other tennis clubs, whose hidden purposes were just for socializing and having a mixer. Although I joined as a novice, I was earnest and gradually improved my skills. I even got challenged to matches by more experienced seniors. In my senior year, a female student joined the club. She was different from the other female students, exuding an air of grace and a certain aura. Her charming smile quickly made her popular. I knew many male students had tried confessing their love to her and had been pampered by her admirers. However, I had no interest in her. I admit she was a cute addition to the club though. She seemed more interested in being fawned over than practicing. I saw her as unserious. Moreover, when she approached me, I bluntly said, "I hope your fancy racket and gear won't go to waste." Looking back, I regret saying something so harsh to a newcomer, but at the time, I couldn't stand the presence of someone who didn't take the club seriously. I was such a small-minded person, always needing to make a sarcastic comment to feel satisfied. Emily probably felt frustrated by my words. Being naturally competitive, she began practicing with a determination to beat me. "John, let's have a match." "A match?" "Yes. I've been practicing a lot to beat you, John. Please, let's do it." She must have gained some confidence, as she challenged me repeatedly. However, regardless of the number of games we played, Emily couldn't score a single point against me, and always ended up losing. That probably frustrated her even more. "I'll definitely win next time," she declared, and resumed practicing the very next day. She apparently came to realize that the chance of beating me in tennis was very slim, so she began challenging me academically. But with us in different grades, it was an impossible task. When I explained this and declined, Emily pouted. If I can't win at something, you'll just graduate and leave like this. Well, that's life. I don't want that. I don't know what to tell you. I've always admired you as my rival, John. But if you graduate without me ever winning or even scoring a point, it'll feel like you've run away with a victory. Emily was clearly aware of her unreasonable demands, her face turning red. How about this then? My magna cum laude has been confirmed, so why don't you aim to be summa cum laude? If you achieve that, you win. I gave her my phone number. Then Emily declared resolutely, deal. Watch me achieve summa cum laude. In the short span of time before my graduation, Emily and I studied together and even reserved a tennis court to settle our rivalry. I recall Emily always looking happy, even though she had lost the game with a considerable score difference. We also occasionally enjoyed meals at the campus cafeteria and attended museums and seminars together as part of our studies. I wondered if giving her my contact was a mistake, as she kept in touch incessantly, but I gradually got used to it. On her invitation, we attended a local summer festival in my senior year. I had burgers and hot dogs, while she enjoyed cotton candy and ice cream beside me. She looked adorable. Then, at the fireworks show that concluded the festival, the sky bloomed with large fireworks and smaller yet vivid ones. I watched them with an indescribable feeling of melancholy. After graduating and starting my job, we kept in touch for a while, but eventually, our communications ceased due to our busy lives. I didn't even know if Emily had graduated with summa cum laude, so I never imagined that the president of my new company would be Emily's father. Looking back, Emily graduated in the year I left that company. We must have missed each other. We hadn't met or contacted each other since then, so it was more than a surprise for me when I learned that she was the victim of a harassment incident at the station. I had assumed she wouldn't remember me, considering how formally we had interacted. It never crossed my mind that she would remember me. When I told Emily about this, she revealed she did graduate with summa cum laude and had tried to report it to me. She found out that I was working at her father's company, so she chose to visit me directly. However, by the time she paid a visit to the office, I had already resigned. She learned from my former colleagues and juniors that I left due to harassment and unreasonable work demands. She alleged that I, whom she thought was nearby, suddenly seemed distant. I realized that I thought of you more than just a rival, John. More than a rival. Yes. John, didn't you notice? I've always wanted close to you. Her smile, as she said this, shone brighter than anything else. One day, I got a call from the president of the company where I had canceled the interview. Let's have a drink together. It's been a while. Sure. I had just gotten through a busy period and was more relaxed, so I readily agreed. On the day, I was ushered into a private room of a high-end pub. We started with updates on our lives, discussing types of partners we liked and hobbies. The president, who also enjoyed tennis, suggested having a match sometime. I have known the president since my time at the multinational company I returned to. The company's small electronic devices had been profitable, but with advancing technology and consumer preferences shifting towards the newest technologies, the business started incurring losses. I had ended the contract with his company due to its uncertainty and technical potential, but I couldn't just let it end there. I continued to offer advice and maintain a good relationship. This is because I've always been drawn to facing and overcoming challenges. His company successfully recovered from the loss, although I'm unsure about the extent of my contributions. I suggested to him the idea of producing custom-made products for specific events, novelty items for entertainment, and creating innovative products that would catch the attention of influencers. I only assisted with the idea. His skill in turning those ideas into profitable products was remarkable. Out of gratitude, he always mentioned that if I ever needed a job, he would hire me with just a phone call. That's why I reached out to him and had scheduled for a job interview, but unfortunately, I caused him inconvenience. Today's meeting was partly to apologize for that. John, the real reason I wanted to meet you is this. He prompted me to sit up straight. I would like you to join my company and aim for greater heights together. We offer a more attractive package than your current position. With you on board, the company's future would be secure. Would you consider it? I pondered his generous offer, though I already knew my answer and was just pretending to think it over. Sir, Thank you for your kind offer, and I appreciate it, but I have reasons to stay where I am right now, so I'm afraid I can't accept. May I ask what these reasons are? It's a bit embarrassing, but there's a woman I'm interested in. Is that so? He seemed surprised, then added, so, John, known for being pragmatic and rational, is choosing to follow his heart. That's quite something. I need to achieve more in my company and win President Thompson's approval. I believe I should establish undeniable credit and achievements to qualify for proposing to the woman in my mind. Otherwise, I wouldn't feel allowed to express my feelings to her. I'm aware of her feelings too. Having recently heard about her past affection, it's unlikely she knows we share the same feelings. I found myself playfully considering teasing her a bit more, looking forward to it. I actually thought you were so dedicated to your work that you'd never marry, seeming indifferent to romance. It's nice to see this human side of you, he said. Really, I'm quite embarrassed. No, I should apologize for my presumptions. Please take good care of the woman you love, though I'm sure a man like you would do so without being told. Yes, I do. So, I regret I can't accept your generous offer. The interview I missed the other day, in fact, involved that woman. I really apologize for the inconvenience. No problem. Life has its moments like that. It was just a matter of timing. Thank you. The president forgave me with a warm smile, and I thanked him repeatedly. Years passed, and I rose to a significant position. Emily, as my assistant, seemed to be spending more time with me. As we spent more time together, our relationship naturally grew closer. However, President Thompson, as Emily's father, remained adamant. I appreciate your work, but that's a different matter. My daughter is off limits to you. Emily would often retort, Dad, enough is enough. Their daily exchanges made me appreciate the beauty of family bonds. Being practical and efficient is important, but I've learned the value of occasionally wasting time, relaxing. Had I continued in my old ways, I might never have met or reconnected with Emily. From now on, I plan to live life with more ease and openness. That's what I've come to realize.